Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we will be looking at the Silver Knights, warriors left in Anor Londo when Gwyn began his journey to the First Flame. This video will be a continuation of my video on the Black Knights of Gwyn, which I recommend you watch if you have not done so already. Let's begin. The description of the Silver Knight armor in Dark Souls 1 reads, "Armor of the Silver Knights who protect Anor Londo. When Lord Gwyn departed to Link the Fire, his knights split into two groups. The Silver Knights remained in the Forsaken Capital in service of their goddess. When Lord Gwyn left Anor Londo to Link the First Flame, he left behind a garrison of Silver Knights to watch over his ailing capital, primarily tasked with protecting Guinevere, the Holy Daughter. These warriors were dedicated to their duty above all else, fighting intruders even after the City of Lords had fallen under darkness. While the Silver Knights never faced the Demon Scourge as the Black Knight counterparts did, they were still highly trained and ready for battle at a moment's notice. The description of the Silver Knight shield reads, "Shield of the Silver Knights of Anor Londo, a flowing canal is carved deep into its face. The Silver Knights stayed behind in Anor Londo to defend the illusory goddess, and their shields are blessed with her divine protection." The shield is of high quality and a symbol of the Silver Knights' defensive purpose. Gwyn likely communicated to these knights, telling them that the protection of the goddess was of the utmost importance, and that no harm was to come to her. The divine protection referenced is illustrative of Guinevere's lasting care and respect for knights, those who fought with or without purpose. Since divine blessings, holy water blessed by the Daughter of Sunlight, are available as both a starting gift in Dark Souls 1 and a burial gift in Dark Souls 3, Guinevere maintained this care for forlorn knights throughout her life, presumably stemming from the dedication that her Silver Knights showed to her. The Silver Knights were capable fighters. Unlike the Black Knights, who favoured strength and brute force, the Silver Knights favoured more classical aspects of swordplay, with each strike becoming part of a dance of death. The description of the Silver Knight's straight-sword reads, "The Silver Knights of Anor Londo guard the city using this beautifully slender weapon. Its chain attacks, in which the wielder takes great advancing steps and makes use of his body weight, are deadly even in single hits. This weapon was seemingly used in the Great War against the Dragons, and is synonymous with the Silver Knights as a whole." Along with the straight sword, Silver Knights also armed themselves with spears, likely also a relic kept from the Dragon Wars. The description reads, "The spear can be wielded both by both hands in a focus thrust that uses one's body weight, or swung in a large sweeping motion." The reason I say that the spear was used in the Dragon War is because of what Miyazaki and Nakamura say of Ornstein's spear, and its use in the conflict. There's only so much you can do with a spear, so it can be difficult to design, but once we hit upon the idea of using your body weight, the design emerged pretty quickly. Yes, the shape of the weapon was based entirely around the idea of stabbing the dragon and then using all of your body weight to force the spear deeper. This implies to me, at least, that both weapons were present during the war. It is clear that the Silver Knights were a revered figure throughout both Anor Londo and Lordran as a whole. Statues of the knights can be seen within Sen's fortress, presumably because any progressing through the labyrinth of traps had to not only prove to themselves that they could make it, but also prove their worth to the protectors of the Holy City. Similar statues are seen within Anor Londo itself, adorning the entrance to the Grand Cathedral, and even inside Guinevere's chamber itself. The fate of the Silver Knights is tied to that of Guinevere. This bond, however, may already have been broken. Guinevere would have waited a long time for her father to return from his quest to the Kiln of the First Flame, but she would eventually realize that he was never coming back. Guinevere would make the decision to slip away from the capital with or without the knowledge of her faithful knights. The description of the Ring of the Sun Princess reads, "This ring is granted to those who enter a covenant with Guinevere, daughter of Lord Gwyn and the Princess of Sunlight. This slightly warm ring boosts the synergy of miracles." The Princess of Sunlight Guinevere left Anor Londo along with many other deities, and later became wife to flame god Flann. The deities that resided in Anor Londo would leave the condemned city when they knew their days would be numbered, and preparations were made. There is much debate about what happened during this period, for as we know, the Guinevere we encounter in Dark Souls 1 is not a real goddess, but rather an illusion maintained by Gwyndolin, the last-born of Gwyn, leader of the Darkmoon Blades. Curiously, something odd has occurred by the time we return to Anor Londo in Dark Souls 3. It has fallen under the dark of night, Guinevere is gone, yet the Silver Knights still remain. When they die, they do not disappear into a soul-like essence like they did in Dark Souls 1, but instead leave a body behind like any other enemy. They also have a lightning infusement for their weapons, something that was absent in Dark Souls 1, even though it would make sense for them to use such a technique following their battles with dragons, who were felled by the power of lightning. The description of the Silver Knight armor in Dark Souls 3 reads, "Armor of the Silver Knights allegiant to the royals of old." It is said that even after the family's passing, the knights continued to watch over their manor and the ruined cathedral. Before analysing this, we should also look at the Silver Knight shield, which reads, "Heavy shield carried by the Silver Knights who served the old royal family." A flowing canal is chiselled deeply into its face. The Silver Knights stayed behind to protect the humble manor and ruined cathedral. Though their goddess has long since left, her blessings upon her knights' shields remain. It is made very clear that Guinevere is gone, along with the rest of the royal family, yet her knights still remain. Whether they stay close to the cathedral because they are undead and have no remembrance of their life, or if they are corrupted by the abyss or some other entity, as the Red-Eyed Knight would possibly imply, the favour of Guinevere has never left them. I don't believe that the Silver Knights see that their world around them has crumbled away, that they no longer protect the royal family, but instead safeguard Aldrich, a murderous god-eater. It's curious that Guinevere decided not to take some Silver Knights with her when she left for Lothric. On the other hand, perhaps she did. A wacky theory, but would be interesting to learn about, nonetheless, would be that members of the Lothric Royal Guard are actually former Silver Knights. Obviously unprovable, but still interesting. It might be worth doing a lore video on Guinevere herself in the future. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there for this video. I'm glad to have covered a subject that has always been present in Dark Souls, but never really picked apart in this way. I hope all of you are enjoying 2017 so far. I have some good stuff coming up in the future, some normal content for the channel, and some a bit different, but I think you'll enjoy it all the same. I've been toying with an idea of actually doing a video on Astora in the same style as the Kareem video, basically analysing another unseen kingdom for info that we do have. Maybe even some more Bloodborne stuff in the future. You'll have to wait and see. Until next time.